Let me paint a picture for you. It's finally the first day of school, and you're bubbling with excitement to get inside and make some new friends. You've been looking forward to this day since forever. Or perhaps you're horribly terrified and just want to go home. Just as you're about to take your first step into your new school, someone pulls your hand, and you've suddenly turned around. You're surrounded by a flash of bright white light as someone says, "Say cheese!" Is it the paparazzi? Have they found you? Nope, it's just your parents trying to take a first day of school photo. Growing up, my parents saw it absolutely necessary that photos were taken everywhere. At the entrance of my school, at birthday parties, or even of that time I fell off my bike and was crying buckets. So embarrassing. It came to the point where the moment they would pull out their phone or camera, I'd make a run for it. After all, I never really knew what to expect. They could ask me to pose with a random statue, or to show the empty space in my teeth, or worse, fake hug my sister and smile widely for the camera. All in all, I used to detest it. I hated it so much that I believed it was a crime to force an innocent child like myself to stay still and click a few dozen photos that I would never ever see again. Now, let's quickly rewind to the present. As a 15-year-old teenager, I am wholly guilty and embarrassed to say that my camera gallery now holds a ridiculously large amount of photos and videos of the most random things on earth. I mean, the impulse to take a photo of the first time my sister and I successfully baked cookies, or the 100th time I thought the sky looked ethereal, was a powerful force. As a kid, it was always my parents trying to keep me still and trying to get my attention to look at the camera. But now, I always find myself telling my family members or friends to look at the camera so I can snap a few photos anytime we're together. But why did I start doing this? What's with the sudden character development? It all started on this rainy June holiday Tuesday, around 3 years ago. Just when I thought I might die of boredom from sitting in my room all day, my parents put out this big stack of fading images, hoping it would somehow keep me entertained. I, on the other hand, was not too hopeful. I skeptically picked up this funny-looking blue album and decided to browse through it. And as I was flipping through the different images, I came across several photos of myself when I was really young, too young to remember when and where the photos were taken. It caught my parents' attention too, and they started making comments such as, "Oh, she looks so cute. I remember that dress. That bunny toy was her favorite. Where did it even end up?" At that moment, I was so touched. Watching my parents taking a trip down memory lane, reminiscing about all the long-forgotten memories, I used to passionately dislike my photos being taken. But after taking a step back to look at photos of my younger self, and seeing that infectious sparkle in my eyes and that genuine smile on my face, it reminded me of who I once was. I got to remember all those specific experiences from years back and see how much I changed over the years. And I realized maybe taking photos wasn't such a bad thing after all. I realized that it was almost as if photos are a visual keepsake of a series of moments in our lives. As if there is an important story behind them all. As if, by capturing that moment, time is forever stopped. I realized that it's almost as if photos are a visual keepsake of a series of moments in our lives. As if there is an important story behind them all. As if, by capturing that moment, time is forever stopped. Looking through photos of when I was young, or of when my parents and grandparents were young, left a lasting impact on the importance of having taken these photos, which would someday make this person relive or remember their memories of that moment. It is a preservation of important events and people in our lives. I have this one photo where little me is crying her eyes out, and not too far away is a cone of ice cream splattered on the ground. Till this day, I vividly remember how my sister was pointing a finger and laughing hysterically at me, while I was heartbroken over my fallen ice cream cone. Though I was really sad at that time, my parents eventually gave in and brought me another ice cream cone. I have another picture of me happily enjoying that ice cream cone too. Seeing how all these mini moments of my life were captured and printed on paper for as long as the paper would last, and how they managed to bring back so many fond memories really inspired me to take more photos of times of my life that held a certain significance. Now, while I'd encourage every other person to do the same, there are certain things that hold back people from doing so in this particular era. This brings me to the topic of social media. Whilst aimlessly scrolling through Instagram for hours, have you ever encountered photos of celebrities or influencers who are wearing cool clothes and have an amazing setting with millions of likes and tons of comments? Well, I have, and it made me also want to take photos like those. But just like myself, many teenagers often find themselves too self-conscious or self-critical to take photos and upload them online. We're always instantly drawn to our perceived imperfections, and eventually, we try to hide away from taking photos and posting photos. It's a common issue. We believe that photos have to live up to a certain standard before posting them. I remember when I first downloaded Instagram. I wanted to make my first post something really special. I was so keen on taking the best photos and making sure the lighting is perfect and the outfit is pretty that the act of taking photos became more of a burden or chore than something that could spark joy out of me. As a result, I skipped out on the whole experience of taking photos for memories. Over time, I realized that I did not want to look back at photos where I overanalyze everything, or photos that did not bring back happy memories and caused me to miss the most important moments of my life. Thus, I decided that I needed to change the way I look at the whole idea of taking photos. After all, we all don't have to be posting perfect Pinterest standard photos, but rather strive to be somewhat like documentarians, who capture important moments of their lives, which would one day serve meaningfully. Taking photos of faces and places that we love holds more importance than taking photos with a cool background and outfit. Wherever we go and whatever we do, it's crucial that we immerse ourselves in our surroundings and live in the moment. And by taking photos, we'll have something to evoke those memories years from now. Before I end off, I would like all of you to take out your handphones and find the photo. It could be any photo. Your wallpaper, your first photo you took with your handphone, a photo of when you were young, a photo you put a lot of effort into taking, or a photo where you remember you were really happy. Look at these photos. What was happening around you at that time? Are you immediately drawn to the specific memories of that moment? Photos help to recall so much more than just the place or time. They bring back specific experiences and, more importantly, emotions, be it happy or sad. Ultimately, all these photos come together to form a narrative of our lives. These photos tell your story. So today, I hope I've inspired you to click a few more photos anytime you feel like